Lalo THR here. What's going on, everybody? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. This is a sports-based podcast where I mainly discuss professional wrestling and professional prize fighting, otherwise known as boxing. But today, I'm going to delve into the World Cup because as a soccer fan myself, I hate calling it soccer, but I just do because I don't want to say football and people think I'm talking about the NFL. But as a soccer fan myself, a casual soccer fan for the most part, I'm really pumped. I'm really excited. The World Cup, it's got to be the grandest sporting event on the planet. I know the Olympics technically is probably a much larger event just because it's multiple different sports, including soccer, within their series of games, the Olympic Games, that is. There's the summer and winter, and so technically speaking, the Olympics is the largest sporting event on the planet, but man, I just don't think I don't think it's bigger than the World Cup. I really don't. The World Cup is the most watched event, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, we're talking about literally billions of people tune in to World Cup games. And in fact, it's actually projected that the opening game for the 2026 World Cup, Mexico, South Africa at Estadio Azteca, Estadio Banorte, as it's now called. Actually, I believe for the sake of the World Cup, FIFA banned sponsorships on stadiums, so it's literally going to just be known as Mexico City Stadium, which that actually sounds kind of dope too, low-key, but I don't give a fuck what they want to call it. That stadium will always be Estadio Azteca to me. But it's being projected that Mexico, South Africa is going to generate upwards of 1.8 billion viewers. The most viewed opening game of a World Cup ever in the history of the World Cup itself. And I mean, the main reason for that is because we live in modern times where pretty much everybody on the planet now has internet and TV and access to these things, unlike before where it was a little more difficult. Of course, there is still some regions out there that still don't have very good internet connections and things like that, but that's the main reason. We're just all so interconnected today, and it's a beautiful thing. It could also be an ugly thing, quite frankly. Just go on Twitter for a few minutes and you'll see for yourself. But I'm pumped, man. I'm really pumped. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about Group A all the way down to Group L, and I'm not gonna go in depth on all of the games. I might go in depth on just Group A, honestly, because Mexico's the team I'm following. And I'll probably go a little in depth on Group D as well, because the United States is a team that I'm just hate watching. More on that later, but let's just get into it. The way this is gonna work, I'm just gonna give you who I'm predicting to come in first, second, and third, and then later on down the road, probably during the World Cup itself, to be honest, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'll probably give you my predictions on the knockout games as they become available, as we know who's going to actually compete. Because right now I know who's going to be in the group stage. Right now I'm going to just predict who's going to win them. And then when we actually see who wins them and then who's going to face who in the knockouts, then I'll probably give you my predictions there. I don't know if that's kind of a cop-out, because I know I probably could just give my predictions on the knockouts now. But that's going to be a long-ass video anyway, audio recording. So let's get into it, man. Group A, Mexico, South Africa, Korea Republic, and the Czech Republic. Now, this game right here, or this group right here, a lot of people are calling the most wide open group of the tournament, and it's one of the co-hosts, and it's anybody can take the number one spot. I disagree with that. And I'm not being biased here as a Mexico fan, as a Mexican American and a Mexico fan, but I just don't see how anybody doesn't have Mexico as the favorite. I feel like people are just hating because I don't understand how you can't see Mexico as the favorite in this group. Bro, literally everything is in our favor. The climate, the heat, the elevation, the altitude of Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, the fucking smog pollution and everything from all the cars, you know, and just the crowd is gonna be rabid, you know. It's gonna be insane. Like, and we have such a definitive record at Estadio Azteca. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, literally, and I don't know, since the stadium was built, you know, in the 1960s or whatever, like, bro, we've only lost like maybe 4 games ever since the 1960s, dog. Something ridiculous like that. That's just a very rough quote. Don't paraphrase or don't quote me on that, but it's a ridiculous record. Like, we literally have like probably the best home record on the planet, actually. Like, we're up there. Like, if we're not the number 1 team, like with the best home record, we're like in the top 5, homie. We're probably in the top 3. So just I just gotta get that out, because I don't know how anybody doesn't see Mexico as the favorite. How do you not favor Mexico in this group? You know, the only real threat in this group is South Korea. Although I will say people are sleeping on the Czech Republic heavy. People are sleeping on the Czech Republic heavy. And let me tell you why. The Czech Republic squad, they're literally like among the tallest players and physically strong players in this entire tournament. Not just in this group, but in the entire tournament. They're very, very tall players. Like, they actually released stats recently too, that like the average height of players, and like Czech Republic is literally like in the top 5 of teams with like the tallest and physically strongest players in the whole tournament. Mexico struggles against physical teams. That's always been one of the crux in our game, one of the issues that we've had. You know, I don't know what it is about. Well, I do know what it is. Unfortunately, Mexico, it's not really a third world country anymore, but it kind of is, just because the gap between the rich and the poor is so massive, and they don't put a lot of money into infrastructure, into training facilities, into nutrition, into physical fitness, and you see it on the players. Like, I feel like the pace of the Mexican player is just not up to par. And never mind the pace, but then when you're talking about muscles, when you're talking about strength, conditioning, now, Mexican players have great conditioning, actually. Very good stamina, very good endurance and durability. That's actually one of the things that has bailed us out. But when it comes to physical strength, Mexico struggles on the pitch. You see them getting bullied by bigger players all the time. And I have a hunch that's why Javier Aguirre called up Memote, that big motherfucker, because he has no business being in a World Cup, but he's like the tallest fucking Mexican we have. But nonetheless, yeah, don't sleep on Czech Republic. In fact, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm putting Mexico at number 1. They're gonna take this group, and at number 2 is gonna be Korea Republic, and at number 3 is gonna be Czech Republic. But I can honestly would not be surprised if Czech Republic actually comes in second. Because I'm predicting, look, Mexico's going to beat South Africa. I'll say like 2-0. They're going to win 2-0. Mexico's going to beat Korea Republic. I want to say like 2-1, or maybe even possibly like a 1-0 even, possibly. All right? But when it gets to Czechia, Czech Republic, whatever they call themselves these days, Mexico is going to either draw with Czech or they're going to lose. Mark my words. Mexico's either going to draw or lose to the Czech Republic. You heard it here first. Group B, Canada, Norway, Qatar, and Switzerland. I'm sorry, I paused right there at when I said Norway, because the picture that I'm looking at for all the groups, this was before we found out the intercontinental playoff teams. so under Canada, it has like it has Italy, Wales, and Bosnia. Oh, my bad, Bosnia. What country is NR then? Okay, wow. Too bad I don't know how to edit this shit, because I need to edit that out. But Bosnia Herzegovina, my bad. It's Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. My bad. Yeah, this I'm looking at an outdated photo of the groups. This group is a little more. This is a more wide open group than Group A. You know, Bosnia is another team that people are kind of sleeping on. Like, I know, like, they're, you know, when it comes to like Czech Republic and Bosnia Herzegovina, they're like the weaker tier European teams, but they're still very good, scrappy teams that can give a good, you know, scrap to any team, to anybody on their good days. So Switzerland is gonna easily top this group. Switzerland is gonna be at number 1, and I'm actually gonna pick Bosnia, bro, at number 2. I think they're gonna come in second, and Canada's gonna come in third. It's a good thing that third place teams advance in this World Cup, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if they didn't, I could see both the United States and Canada getting grouped, honestly. I'm just being real. Again, I'm not being biased because I'm a Mexico fan. Believe me, I have nothing against Canada, for one. My Maple Leaf merchants, they're cool as fuck. You know, I have nothing against them. I actually like Canadians a lot. They're very nice people. They're fun to hang out with too, actually. Like, they're fun to talk to and stuff. Like, they're very fun, like, you know, how do I put it? Like, energetic, like fun, energetic people. Like, they're never low energy. They always have a lot of energy. They're nice, but their teams suck though. Like, Canada and USA, like, they're kind of overhyped right now. I know, because, you know, Canada especially, look, Canada, I understand the hype because they've always been, you know, an underachieving team, but right now they have probably their best generation ever. United States though, they're mad overhyped. And so, yeah, they're very lucky. Both of these guys are, both of our co-hosts are lucky that third place teams could advance, depending on, I don't know, they go by what, goal differentials and, you know, I don't know what else, stats, but yeah, man, I'm gonna say Canada tops the group, Bosnia Herzegovina at second, and at third is gonna be Switzerland. Qatar is there for the vibes. Qatar is just there for the vibes. Former host, the last edition of the World Cup. Let's move on to Group C. Speaking of former host of the World Cup, Brazil hosting that amazing 2014 World Cup, but I'm sure the Brazilian people would not describe that World Cup as amazing. They suffered that humiliating, you know, 7-1, 7-something defeat to Germany. It's just a crazy goleada that I've never seen before, honestly, when it comes to a final or a semi-final, I think it was. And, you know, a team like Brazil getting slaughtered like that in their home, bro, that was insane. But the 2014 World Cup was, it was bittersweet, man. It was bittersweet. That's one that Mexico could have actually went far, went deep. And, you know, the Netherlands, Robin did that bitch ass move, throwing himself right in the box. There was no VAR, I guess, at the time, and no era penal. But we got Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland going to be the protagonists of Group C. Man, Brazil and Morocco is gonna be a banger. That's all I gotta say right there. That's gonna be a banger. I'm gonna set my calendar for that one. Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, Scotland. You know something? Haiti, Scotland is also kind of not a banger, but it's an interesting game, because I want to say that Haiti and Scotland are very, very evenly matched. They're very even, bro. I think, you know, don't sleep on Haiti, bro. They're a very solid team out of the Caribbean. I'm telling you right now, the Caribbean soccer is the future of CONCACAF. I want to say that, because when I see teams like Haiti and Curacao, who are also in the mix in this World Cup, you know, the way they've improved. You know, Jamaica should be improving. I don't know what happened with Jamaica, but nonetheless, I feel like Caribbean foot is the future of CONCACAF, real talk. And I think Haiti and Scotland, we might see a surprise in that one. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. But nonetheless, you know what? My number one pick for Group C is going to be Morocco, bro. I'm going to put Morocco at first place, believe it or not, because, bro, Morocco has just completely refurbished their foot culture at all levels, at youth level, at senior level. We just saw them win the Under-20 World Cup, you know, last year, and they were the semi-finalist in the last World Cup in Qatar. Morocco is just, it feels like if they came out of nowhere too. Like, I know they used to host the Club World Cup a lot back in the day when the Club World Cup was just like 8 teams or whatever. And I don't know, man, like Morocco's they've just emerged as a powerhouse team, man. You know, if If Morocco were to have a deep run this World Cup once again, it would not shock me. And I'm picking them to come in first, Brazil at second, and then for third place in this group, man, it's gonna be a death match between Haiti and Scotland. Death match. I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards Scotland. But once again, just like the previous third place that I mentioned, I would not be surprised if Haiti actually was able to do the unthinkable and come in third in Group C. Moving on to Group D, we got fellow co-hosts, the United States, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Turkey, bro. I'm just gonna say Turkey for the rest of this. But, you know, this is gonna be a controversial take, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a hot take. This is actually my World Cup hot take, in that I think USA gets grouped. Except they might not get grouped because, like I said, like I alluded to, third place teams advance. So because of that, I'm not going to say they get grouped, but boy, they are lucky, man. I don't see... Listen, when these groups were first announced, you know, and it's interesting, it's funny me talking about that, because this picture that I'm looking at is the outdated-ass picture of all the groups before we even knew, you know, who were going to make the Intercontinental Playoff games and join the group stage. But when these groups were announced and revealed, the USMNT fans, the Nads, as we used to call them back in the day, they got all hyped up. They got all excited, like, oh, it couldn't have gone better for us. We have an easier group than Mexico. Like, no, you guys don't. Y'all are dumb, bro. Let me tell you something right now. Paraguay, this is not like the Paraguay from, you know, a few years ago. This is not Paraguay from, I was going to say 2010, but they actually did pretty decent in 2010, actually. This is a strong Paraguay side, bro. You know what I mean? I know they're typically one of the weaker South American teams, right? The Paraguays, the Venezuelas, the Ecuadors of the world. They're like considered like the weaker tier South American teams outside of the double-edged sword that is, you know, Brazil and Argentina, the double-headed dragon there. But this is not a weak Paraguay, bro. This is a Paraguay that could absolutely give Brazil and Argentina a run for their money, even. This is not the weak Paraguay that the dumbass USMNT fans think this is. But Paraguay's going to win this group. I'm actually putting Paraguay at number 1. And at my number 2 spot, not the United States, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go with Turkey, bro. Turkey is another European team, just like the previous ones that I talked about. You know, Chechnya or Czech Republic and Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bro, Turkey's another European team that people are mad disrespecting and sleeping on. Turkey has a lot of firepower. Their attackers, I don't know their names. They're really, really strong attackers. And they are just as explosive as the US attackers. And really, that's all the US have. Bro, I'm telling y'all right now, the USMNT squad is overrated as fuck just because they all play in Europe. And what are they doing in Europe? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. Look at the recent ratings that they've been getting in all of their games. I don't care if they play in Europe. It don't matter if you play in Europe. If you're not getting results, if you're not contributing, you're not doing good. You know, the only thing the USMNT has is really good athleticism. That's one thing I'll give them. The USMNT right now, their current squad, they're very explosive. They actually remind me of like a West African team in terms of their physicality. Like, they're just very explosive, speedy players that also have a lot of power on that ball. You know, decent touch, but that's about it. Like, they're not really technically sound. They're not like their tactics. They're not. I don't know, man. The USMNT is not all that. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Watch. They're gonna come in third, bro, because it's gonna be Paraguay, Turkey, and the United States at third. But it would not surprise me if fucking Australia. if the Socceroos were to sock the US out of the damn group, man, and take that third place spot as well. I know we just beat Australia, but that was an ugly game. It wasn't even a game to be proud of, actually. But That's Group D. Moving on to Group E. Germany, Curacao, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. Now, for the rest of this, I'm going to refer to Cote d'Ivoire as Ivory Coast. And Ivory Coast, their fan base should be very, very excited going into this World Cup, because actually just yesterday, the Ivory Coast defeated France. In France, okay? And, you know, France is one of the teams that are highly favored to win the whole damn tournament. So keep an eye out for these African teams, man. You know, I'm telling you right now, Africa, if their players did not immigrate to Europe, and if their individual feds weren't as corrupt, like, bro, Africa would be a powerhouse in world football. Like, they'd be neck and neck, I think, with CONMEBOL. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. I'm going to say Germany is going to take the number 1 place. And at second, oh man, this is tough actually. This one is tougher because I could see Ivory Coast, of course, getting second. But don't sleep on Ecuador, man. I could see Ecuador also getting second. You think Mexico has good defense? Bro, Ecuador, their defense is impenetrable right now, bro. Ecuador has rock solid defense. They're attacking though, I don't know. Ecuador really is very similar to Mexico right now in their form and their play style. Like, just very, very rock solid defensive teams right now. But where the attack is kind of it's kind of mid. But be that as it may, man, you know what? I'm gonna be biased and roll with the Latinos to come in second place. Ecuador. I'm gonna roll with my Ecuadorian primos to come in second. So Germany at 1, Ecuador at 2, and I'll say Ivory Coast in third. Curacao, bro, just being at the World Cup is already they already won, bro. You know what I mean? In a sense, they already won. Just being at the World Cup, you know, whether they're not gonna win a single game, but they're fucking there. They already won, homie. Curaçao's there for the vibes. I wish Cape Verde could have been in the same Cape Verde. I wish they could have been in the same group with Curaçao somehow. I know that couldn't happen because they, you know, it's all organized, so like the lowest ranked teams play the highest ranked teams and all that. But I wish, because man, that would be a very interesting watch. Curaçao and Cape Verde, the two most unlikeliest World Cup teams of all time, playing against each other somehow. Moving on to Group F, we got the Dutch, the Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. So I'm hate watching the Netherlands because of the no era penal debacle, moment that will live in infamy in Mexican soccer, in Mexican foot. I'm hate watching the Netherlands, but I'm also not. I'm also low-key rooting for them as well, and I'll tell you why. Because even though, yeah, that national team moment between the Netherlands and Mexico in 2014, one of the most dastardly, pussy-ass things I've ever seen in my life. But, bro, the Dutch league, the Eredivisie, bro, they take really good care of Mexican players, bro. Look how many players we've sent to the Dutch league. They're like one of the only European leagues that like always scout and rate Mexican players, bro. Just so many players have gone to the Eredivisie and have thrived, you know? For better or for worse. I mean, I want to say the Eredivisie is better than Liga MX, but is it really though? You know, I would say Liga MX. If Eredivisie is superior to Liga MX, it's not by a lot. It's really not. It's maybe like one notch higher tier than Liga MX. But nonetheless, the point is, we shouldn't hate on the Netherlands because, man, they take care of our players, bro. They help groom and build young Mexican players that get sent over there. So, nonetheless, Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia. I'm going to roll with the Netherlands at 1, Japan at 2. Oh, man. I'm going to be interesting. And I'm going to roll with Tunisia to come in at 3, Tunisia. Because Tunisia, along with their North African brothers, Algeria, they're always scrappy teams, man. No, you know, like always. They're always tough teams that are always in the rankings. They're always rated They're always like in there. They just never, they never quite have deep runs in the World Cup, or but I'm pretty sure they do it big in AFCON. But yeah, man, I'm gonna pick Netherlands at 1, Japan at 2, and Tunisia at 3. Group G: Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. New Zealand are there for the vibes. Let's just cancel them out right now. New Zealand are there for the vibes, man. The Kiwis. And you know what? Again, just like with Curacao and the Cape Verdes of the world, Cape Verde, New Zealand, they already won just by being there. Like nobody expects them to even win a single game. So they already won just by being there. This is already a big accomplishment. So at number 1, Belgium, of course they're gonna take this group. And at number 2, I'm gonna roll with Iran. I'm gonna roll with Iran at number 2, and at third place is gonna be Egypt. And Iran and Egypt is gonna be an interesting game because they're very similar to each other. I think in their play, very, very similar. I could be wrong about that. But Group H, we got Spain, one of the favorites to win the whole damn tournament. And I actually am kind of leaning towards Spain myself, actually. I already kind of just gave away my pick to win the whole damn tournament. I have to roll with Spain this year. Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Cape Verde, they're there for the biggest vibes of all time, bro. They're there, and they already made a huge accomplishment being there. They actually just beat Serbia 3-0, a team we just destroyed last night, 5-1. I didn't even touch on that. That game was also kind of, though, like, it's a little misleading. It was a 5-1 scoreline, but they did, score on themselves twice. 2 auto goals. But that banger that Luis Chavez ripped towards the end of the match, that was dope. That was dope. That got me a little excited. But yeah, that Mexico-Serbia 5-1 scoreline, a wee bit misleading, ladies and gentlemen. But nonetheless, as I was saying, Cape Verde, they also smashed on Serbia 3-0. Damn, it would suck to be a Serbian fan right now. Holy shit, man. If I'm a Serbian fan, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not into soccer anymore. I'm gonna go play hockey, dog. I'm gonna start watching hockey. What else is popular over there? I don't know. Spain is easily taking this number 1 spot with they're walking to their knockout game, bro. They're walking to round of 32. This is such an easy group. That's one of the reasons I am picking Spain, if I'm being honest, because their path to the final is just so easy, man. But yeah, I'm picking Spain at number 1. I'm gonna say Uruguay at number 2 and Saudi Arabia at 3. Group I, we got Francia. France, one of the favorites as well to win the whole tournament once again. 2018 champs, 2022 finalists. Senegal, who I call mini France, France Junior. Iraq, and Norway. Here's Norway. I fucking said Norway earlier. Group B, because I'm looking at this outdated ass list of groups. Yeah, so that France versus Senegal game, I legitimately am gonna watch that one. Like I'm gonna mark my calendars on that one. That France Senegal game is gonna be very interesting. I know that the Ivory Coast just beat France in France's home, but that's a friendly. We really cannot be misled by friendlies, ladies and gentlemen. Official games, tournament games, they're way different from friendlies. They're way different. And trust me, France is gonna come alive, bro, when this tournament begins. Do not, look at that friendly and think, oh, now the World Cup is wide open. Because France ain't gonna win it. Like, nah. You are sadly misled. Yeah, that France-Senegal game is gonna be a banger. Iraq, they're there for the vibes, bro. I love the Iraqi people. They love Mexican culture. They were very, very respected and respectful when they were there in Mexico. I seen a lot of videos of the Iraqis interacting with Mexican fans and just enjoying themselves. And, that was really cool to see. But, I don't see them winning a single match. I don't even think they're gonna score a single goal in this group. This group is just way too fucking, Group I could literally be group of death, I think, actually, now that I think about it, because you got France, Senegal, and Norway, bro. You know what I'm saying? I like with nah. I mean, dude, Haaland is scoring like 30 goals per season. You know, he's I mean, come on, man. And I just saw Norway's like Viking style, you know, World Cup photos of them arriving, and like, bro, they just look scary, dog. Like, nah. I'm gonna say France at 1. I'm gonna go with Senegal at 2. No, I'm gonna go France 1, Norway 2, and Senegal 3. They're not. Iraq is not gonna. I don't even think they're gonna score a single goal in this group stage in any of their group games. Honestly. Moving on to Group J, we got Argentina, who I am absolutely hate watching, even more so than the U.S. Like the U.S., I just want to see them. I just want to see their fans like spaz out, or like the kids today say, I want to see their fans crash out. You know what I mean? But because it'll make me laugh. But Argentina, I'm genuinely hate watching them. I can't stand Argentina when it comes to soccer. Argentine people are cool as fuck, I'm sure. But when it comes to soccer, when it comes to football, I don't like fucking Argentines, bro. Like, just everything about them, their fan base, they're just as racist as the USMNT fan base. They're just as obnoxious and annoying, and the shit they talk, and they are Mexico's kryptonite. For whatever reason, we just cannot beat Argentina. We cannot beat them. Those motherfuckers could all have sprained ankles and like only one eye working, and we'll still lose to them. Like, it's just death, taxes, and Mexico losing to Argentina. That's just the way it is. So I'm genuinely hate watching Argentina here. Algeria, Austria, and Jordan all make up Group J. And once again, Argentina, just FIFA just giving them their knockout games on a silver platter, bro. Argentina is by far and away at number 1. They're on Mount Everest, while the rest, I'll say at number 2. I'm actually going to say Algeria at number 2 and Austria at number 3. I know that's kind of a hot take. Most people would pick Austria. From other people that I've seen do this, everyone's picking Austria to come in second. I'm going to pick Algeria. Don't sleep on them North African teams, bro. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. You know, they're bad motherfuckers, man. They're really good players. They could give any big team a difficult time as well. So, there you go. At Group K, we got Portugal, who, man, if Mexico gets eliminated, they will get eliminated. Portugal is honestly the team that I'm going to be rooting for, you know? Because I want to see Cristiano raise that trophy, bro. And it'll be in... This is why it's such a fucking shame that the World Cup final is not being held at Azteca, bro. It's being held in butt fucking New Jersey, bro. Really? Like, just imagine, think about this. You know, the Azteca is where both, in the previous 2 World Cups that we hosted, Pelé and Maradona, respectfully, all became icons in Azteca, bro. You had that legendary photo with Pelé in a sombrero raising the trophy, Maradona and his Mano de Dios and everything that became of that, raising the trophy. And then imagine, fast forward, you know, multiple decades later, and you have Cristiano fucking Ronaldo raise the trophy at Azteca. Like, bro, how does FIFA not, like, oh my god, I can't stand this organization, bro. But yeah, be that as it may, Portugal, Congo, or the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. That makes up Group K, and this is a pretty tough group actually too. Looking at this at face value, because, you know, don't sleep on Uzbekistan. Once again, I gotta continue this rant about how people are vastly underrating the smaller, weaker tier European teams like Uzbekistan, like Czech Republic, like Bosnia Herzegovina, etc. Like, these, I know these are not the strong European teams, but these are very scrappy teams right now, especially like Uzbekistan. They're on a come up. They're not a bad team. And Congo, I mean, we're talking about an African team. Of course, they're a fucking good team, bro. Like, you know, African teams, they're very they're very similar to each other in how they play. They just have very good physical fitness, strong shot power, very fast. I don't know, man. This is a tough. And then Colombia is just on fire right now as well. There actually is a sizable amount of people that are actually saying Colombia is gonna win the whole damn tournament. That would be something. That would be, you know what? I wouldn't be mad, bro, if Colombia won the World Cup. We haven't seen it before. It's a South American team that isn't fucking Argentina. I mean, fuck. I would be happy, actually. That'd be dope. I don't think that's gonna happen though. Nonetheless, Portugal is gonna be number 1. I think they're gonna come in first. Colombia at number 2. And then in third place, man, it's gonna be a death match between Uzbekistan and Congo, bro. Ooh. I'm gonna roll with Congo. I'm gonna roll with the Congo to come in third. I just think I'm just guessing, really. I'm just talking out of my ass, honestly. I'm just guessing. Let's go to Group L, the final group. We're finally here. We got England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Don't sleep on Panama. Panama's always been a very tough team. One of the best that Central America has to offer. I know that doesn't really mean much, but in Central America, their top teams pretty much have always been Panama, Costa Rica, and to a lesser extent Honduras. But be that as it may, England is definitely getting first place. But when it comes to second and third, I'm actually having a hard time thinking about this here. Because I know Croatia's players are kind of aged out, bro, aren't they? Their players are like aged out. They got that one fool. What? Yeah, I don't know. And then Ghana, again, a West African team. We just beat them, but the Ghana that we just beat was not their World Cup squad, ladies and gentlemen. That Ghana was like their B or C team. That was a terrible game. They didn't even try. Like, when we scored on them, their fucking goalkeeper celebrated, clapping his hands. Like, what the fuck? Come on, bro. Like, they didn't even try. Actually, just for that, I'm not even gonna rate Ghana, bro. Just for that, I'm not even gonna rate those fools. And I know that wasn't their World Cup squad, but come on, man. You guys gotta give us a challenge. Like, I don't know. England at number 1. I'm gonna say Croatia at number 2. And I'm putting Panama in third place, ladies and gentlemen. So that's gonna do it. That's gonna conclude my World Cup predictions. I'll probably go into the knockouts later on. Maybe I want to try to get that in before the World Cup starts. But if not, if I have to do it during the World Cup, I don't see it as it's kind of a cop out, but whatever. It is what it is. Thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, be sure to follow me at Lalo_THR. And let's do what it do, baby. Viva Mexico.